What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Real Estate Podcast. Today I got another special guest. I know I say that every week, right? Special guest. Yeah, I think everybody's special. But today I got a special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I'm just going to say, Dana Christian. We became fast friends a couple years ago. Some things that she did, it really stood out to me. So I knew that we would be lifelong friends. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Dana Christian. I am Dana Christian, I like to go by. I'm a real estate investor. I've been investing in real estate since 2006. Came into the Cleveland market in 2018 and been killing it here ever since.
So, me and Dana first met. We were at an event in Atlantic City.
Yes.
Event Atlantic City,
April
like 4 years ago.
2019.
Oh, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So we was at the event. I was standing downstairs in the hotel lobby, and then this lady approaches me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what you said.
So I said, I've been looking for you all weekend. So one of my friends in Atlanta had plugged me in with Beyond. Was like, he's in Cleveland doing his thing. So I had already started investing in here, but I also wanted to meet somebody that was actually in the city, actively investing. So I I bumped into him Friday night at the comedy show. And I was like, oh, that's Beyond. Right? So I was like, I'm going to say something to you, introduce myself, and I was looking for you. Rest of Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And when I got off the elevator, you were standing right there. So I was like, I've been looking for you all weekend. You probably thought I was a stalker, right? But I was looking for you all weekend, right? Because I just wanted to introduce myself because I know you was out here in Cleveland, actively, active investor and stuff like that. And I definitely wanted to partner with someone that's out here because, like I said, I started investing in real estate in Cleveland 2018, and we ain't gonna get into that story. Right. But I had some hiccups, and mainly because I wanted to be that lazy investor, right? So that's why I ran into some hiccups. So I wanted to, meet you, and I said, introduce myself. I was like, I'm gonna book a consultation with you, right? Because that's one thing I always do. I never just come into somebody's inbox asking them questions. My thing is, how can I bring value? How can I bring value? And I always think about what's the most important thing to most active entrepreneurs is their time. Right? And what's important to most people is their money, right? So you got to trade them. So I have to trade my money with a person for their time. So I knew that I needed to book a consultation with him.
Yeah, so what stood out to me was she said she was going to book a consultation, but what's funny is whenever I'm out, people always say, I'm going to come to your class. I'm going to book a consultation. Most of the time they be fucking lying. And there ain't no reason to lie to me. Just tell me straight up because I'm going to tell you straight up. But what stood out was Dana said that. And then 2 weeks later, Dana booked a consultation. We hopped on the Zoom, and I think Dana probably had 2 questions. So I was kind of clear what was going on. I was kind of clear that I had came across somebody that was just like me, because I'm the kind of person that I'm gonna hit the link in your bio. I'm not about to reach out, no long message, giving you my sad story. And no, I'm gonna hit the link in the bio to show you that I'm different from 90% of most of the people in the world. 90% of most people in the world, they looking for something for nothing. They want to keep telling a sad story in hopes that somebody gonna give them a handout. But successful people are uninterested in that. So that stood out when Dana actually spent her money to book the consultation. After the consultation, I knew that we were going to be connected. We ran into each other at another event. I believe we was in Atlanta. We ran into each other at another event. And so I see that she was actively investing in herself. A lot of people want to elevate in life, but they don't want to invest in themselves. Like, it's impossible to reach your highest highs if you don't use your money to invest in yourself and build your dreams that are so-called important to you. And here's another thing. I don't know if you've noticed this too. Most people are only interested in their goals and in investing in their goals when they don't have no money. When they blow their income tax return, when they blow all the money from the scamdemic in 2020, when they spend the money that grandma left them, that mommy left them, after they blow all of their money They're interested in their dreams with your money. They want to borrow your money to invest in their dreams and their goals after they blow all of their money.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of times people, they feel like somebody owed them something, right? I hear this all the time, that you successful, you don't want to help. I do want to help. I go live, I get free webinars, but it's my time. And I always tell people, you're not paying for the information, you're paying for my time, because I give out free information. But if you want my time, you have to pay for it, right? And people don't want to invest in that. And I don't know if it's a mindset or maybe people just not used to it, right? But it's like, if you want to get somewhere, right, you have to pay for someone's time. If that person is where they are,
Right.
where you want to be, then you have to pay for that person's time, right? And people will be like, well, I can get the stuff from Google or YouTube, right? But first of all, you have to know the right question to ask. And that's where most of us get stuck. We don't know the question to ask, right? Yeah, you can get the information from Google if you ask the right question. But a lot of times, we don't know the right question to ask, right? So it's better to pay somebody for the blueprint to get where you want to be.
Another thing that stands out about Dana. So I gave Dana my phone number, my personal phone number, because I told you from the beginning I knew that she was different. I knew she was somebody I wanted to connect with. So I gave her my number. So she didn't use the number. And so I seen her at the event, and I can't remember exactly what she asked me, but I'm like, I gave you my phone number for a reason. Like, you don't have to send me a DM. Like, I gave you my number. So she didn't abuse the number. A lot of people, they abuse the phone number. People give them an opportunity to connect with them, to build a relationship, not for you to get the number and just abuse the number. So Dana didn't use the number. Another thing standing out, my first Cleveland infield training with the pros, a class, a training that I do here in Cleveland, Ohio, live. Dana attended the first Cleveland infield training with the pros. She bought a ticket. I would have let her come for free. She bought a ticket and pulled up. Like, that speaks volume when you got somebody in your life that's a friend, because everybody's saying that they your friend, but they don't support anything you do when it comes to money. They always looking for a discount or a hookup. But that stood out to me to see Dana at the training, and she bought a ticket when I would have let her come for free. So why did you buy that ticket?
Because you were selling tickets, right? So, and I don't like to abuse. I treat people the way I want them to treat me, right? So I didn't feel right to ask you, well, can I come? Right? Because even though I've been actively investing, I don't know that, I don't want to assume that, I'm just going to come and not going to learn anything. I can always learn something. I'm always a student, right? So if I'm coming with the mindset that I'm going to pick up some gems, it's only fair I pay for it. Now, I'm not going to pay now for any,
right?
But, but you know what I'm saying? You always learn something, and I try to treat people the way I want people to treat me. And I don't want to assume, because you said you only have 10 seats, right? So how can I come for free and take up a seat when somebody else could have got that seat?
Right.
So, yeah. And like I said, money is a tool. Right? So if I have the money to spend, if I didn't have it, I'm like, well, beyond, I don't have it, but I want to come. Then honestly, if I don't have it, I'm coming, because I can't buy anything. Right. So it don't even make sense. Right. But I want to be supportive, and he was having an event and came. And you know what? And it's so funny, because when, Instagram, everybody started being on Instagram, 17, 18. And there was certain people I would watch that was doing stuff in real estate. And I was like, wow, I would like to be friends with them. Right? And no lie, every single person that I said I wanted to be friends with, now we are friends. Right? And how that happened, because I didn't go to their inbox asking them for favors. They had events. I paid and came. And, I'm a shy person, so I stand back. So I'm not even all up in a person's face. Right? So I stand back, get the information, and just come and, give my input and stuff like that. And I'm friends with every single person that I said I wanted to be friends with that was doing stuff in real estate.
Wow. Yeah. I hope y'all wrote that down, because it's easy to connect with the people that you really want to connect with if you first focus on what they focus on, what's important to them. So if they selling a t-shirt, a book, a course, a webinar, show up so they can see that you stand out from most of the people in the world that's just looking for something for nothing.
And also bringing value, right? So I was thinking, what is my value, right? So my thing is business credit cards, right? So I can always bring value on, you can get money from this bank, you can get money from that bank. And at the same time, these people, I'm not asking them to pay me for the information, right? Because it's exchange. I never know when I might need something. It costs me nothing, like I said, to give out information. Right? So I'm always thinking, how can I bring value? Right? So my value is helping you get access to funding or paying for, is always leading some type of money, right? So knowing me, right, is going to help you get money.
I agree, 200%.
Yeah.
I agree, 200%.
So we always have to lead with, what can I do for that person, right? So many times people thinking what they can get from me, right? But you have to think, what can I bring to that person? How can I be of value? And that's how you will win, right? But if you're only thinking about yourself, you will never win.
AKA, focus on creating win-wins where both parties win and you're going to win in life. It's a simple recipe. Focus on creating win-wins. Everybody like to win. Like you want to win, other people like to win. So, you live in Atlanta.
I live in Atlanta.
So what made you want to come all the way to Cleveland to invest in real estate if you live in Atlanta? Why don't you just do real estate in Atlanta?
Because houses is expensive in Atlanta. So now Atlanta, I do a fix and flip, but I'm more of a buy and hold investor. So in 2017, I started, like I said, 2006, kind of stopped, ran out of money in 2008 and got sidetracked. Then I got injured at the post office. I got back into real estate. And the prices in Atlanta was ridiculous, right? So I was on Instagram and somebody, I don't remember who, was saying something about Baltimore. The houses in Baltimore was cheaper than Atlanta and the rents is more. So I went to Baltimore first. So I went to Baltimore April 2018. Then after that, I don't know how I stumbled across Cleveland, right? And I was going on Zillow, seeing the prices of the houses. Back then, duplexes, $3,000, $5,000. So I was looking in Cleveland and I started building my team, right? So I found a wholesaler, a property manager, a project manager, a realtor, right? And, was just building my team up. And then an investor would say he was coming to Cleveland. So I originally came out to Cleveland with him. Right, so when I came out to Cleveland, and even though I bought a duplex for $50,000, that was the price, $50,000 purchase and rehab, and basically he turned the properties over to you with a tenant in it. So I knew that I was paying too much, but I was paying for convenience, and I wanted to be the lazy investor. But it was a great return on investment, right? Because the properties was renting out for, I think both of mine was renting out for $1,250. If I'm more than $50,000, that return on investment is like 20%. Right. So it made sense to me, right? And then I didn't have to worry about dealing with the contractor and all of that stuff, right? Like again, I want to be the lazy investor. So that's how I got out here, right? I don't remember what brought Cleveland to my top of mind, but that's how I got out here, right? And then once I bought that house, then Ramon had told me about you. Right, and that's when Ramon had tagged me. No, this girl, actually Ebony, that works with Ramon, had tagged me in your Instagram, and she was like, he's family. Right, and that's when I started following you, and then I ran into you in Atlantic City. So the rest is history. But Cleveland, like the return on investment is great, and since I've been here since 2018, haven't been able to leave. Like I'm trying to get stuff in Baltimore, but it's like the prices here is just great, and then now I have a team here also.
How did you build your team in Cleveland? How did that?
With the help of you. So with the help of you. But even before we met, right, I had a hashtag, right? It's not as hard as we think it is, because when I went to Baltimore, I knew absolutely nobody. Right? I bought a property turnkey from an auction, right? And once I went to Baltimore, then we went, after we closed on the house, I went to Home Depot, 5 o'clock in the morning, and stayed out there for hours and was coming back and forth contractors. So I'm writing down all their numbers, then searching to see if they had Instagram pages, talking to them, just like building that team, joined the local RIA, right? And the RIA in Baltimore is ran by a contractor, right? And everybody that you need is there. And same thing in Atlanta, right? So people think it's hard to build a team. You just have to be active, right? And I always tell people, join a local RIA because everybody you need will be there, right? And sometimes we gotta put boots on the ground, right? Come, go to Home Depot, meet people, you know, other people having events, going to the events and just seeing who's there. Or even sometimes it can be somebody that live in the town, right? And you'd be surprised. You don't know who's following you on social media, right? Let's just say if I wanted to go to Milwaukee, I might say, anybody live in Milwaukee, DM me, right? So now that can be my boots on the ground, right? Can you go look at this property? And what I'm gonna do, daytime, I'm gonna pay them. I give you $50 if you can drive by this property and take pictures, right? So it's not as hard as we think it is, right? But we just have to be active, right? And so many times we want to be that lazy investor. That was me. I wanted to be that lazy investor and I got lazy results, right? And I always say it's not as hard as you think it is.
You were about to say something about hashtags.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were going somewhere.
Yeah, so that's what I did when I was looking at Cleveland before I came with other investor. I hashtag wholesalers, hashtags property managers, hashtag investors, and the list came up. That's how I came. I don't want to say anything. That's how I came across somebody else in Cleveland. But yeah, hashtag, like people, we use social media for drama, right? You gotta use social media, right, to fill your pockets, to get where you want to be in life, right? Like, it's so much money to be made out there, and we just think outside the box.
Let me cut her off. I'm cutting her off on purpose because I don't want to lose my train of thought. And what Dana just said was you got to use social media to fill your pockets, right? And so I've been actively watching Dana. When we first met, Dana was super shy. She was talking about doing a mentorship, but she felt like she needed to take more classes and get more information in order to start the mentorship. But I'm watching her. I'm watching how she moves. It looked like she takes calculated moves. She understands the power of using her money to get in certain rooms, to get the knowledge that she needs so she can then turn around, recycle it to continue to make money, and then continue to have a percentage that she continued to invest in herself and her knowledge. And I was like, listen, you need to start your mentorship right now. You don't need to take another class right now. You got enough information. Start with what you have. And so I kind of pushed her. For whatever reason, she believed me. She started doing her mentorship, right? She stayed consistent. And I was just watching because I was kind of nervous to do mentorship. Like, I'm just telling you, I was just kind of nervous, that's a responsibility. Like, you got to be committed. And so I watched Dana for, a few years be consistent with showing up for her mentorship. No matter where we at, like if we out in Atlanta or we out in Cleveland, she like, okay, I got to do my mentorship call. And so I just watched her do her mentorship. Watch her then create other things, digital products to sell. And I'm watching her content on social media. Watch her, the day with Dana, whether it's in Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore. Watch her 5-day challenge, run ads. And I'm just sitting back watching like, damn, she was shy as hell when I first met her. Now it's like, you ain't got no pause.
No pause at all. And I need a pause. But you know what? And so many times I'll be ready to stop, right? I want to stop. And people think that, I make good money from mentorship, but I make money from real estate. This house right here, almost $200,000. New construction, $300,000.
Right.
Other properties. So I make money in real estate. I have rental properties, but I know the people need me. Even when I be like, I don't want to do it no more. And even right before the call, I'll be like, I don't want to do it. But the joy I get afterwards, I know it's God. Right? So I can't stop until God tells me to stop. Right? The flesh want to stop. People get on my nerve because I get upset when they're not taking action.
Me too.
But I realize that people are scared, right? And two things I realize, and I always tell my mentees this. Two things you need to do. You need to get mad, make a decision, and you got to bet on yourself. BET stands for B, believe, E, educate, and then T, transform. That's when you're putting in the work. If you focus on those two things, you're going to be successful, right? And a lot of us don't believe it because of our past. Both of us ninth grade dropouts, right? And look at us now, right? If you would have told me when at 17, when I had 2 kids, that I was going to be this successful, I'd have been like, no way. Even when I look at my girls, right? 2 kids, same baby daddy, not married. Both of my daughters didn't have children until they was married. Both of them successful entrepreneurs in their husbands. Right? This weekend I was looking at them. I was like, gosh, I am so proud. So many people talk down on me and my kids when we was growing up. But now I be like, look at us. Right? And I know it's only because of God. And 2 things. I made a decision. Right? By any means necessary, I was going to do what I had to do to take care of those kids. And I bet on myself because nobody else is going to bet on me. Right? So it's those 2 things and you can be successful. But one of those most important besides those 2 is that T, that transform. You have to transform into that person you need to be. Right? Because I'm not the same Dana that I was 17. Not the same Dana to work at the post office. Right? You have to transform until that person you need to be.
You're not the same Dana that I met.
Yeah, I ain't the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to constantly transform. Right? But the rewards is so great. Right? And I always say, you know what I'm saying? People like money don't make you happy, but neither does being broke. But it makes me feel good when I'm driving in my car, pulling up to my house, when I can go in the store, buy what I want. You only live one life. It feels good when you can do what you want to do, whatever your heart's desire. Right? And I would say if I can do it, anybody can do it. But you have to make a decision to do it.
So I started a mentorship because of Dana, right? I was and it's funny how it was easy for me to recognize the greatness and the genius in her and to push her to do it. And when it came to me doing it, I kept saying I was going to do it, but I wasn't going to do it. So I remember like yesterday, we was at a Cleveland infield trainer here in Cleveland, Ohio. We was in Beechwood at the Marriott Hotel, and I was ending the class. But before the class, when Dana had asked me about it and some other people, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the mentorship. But as I started to think about it throughout the day while I was doing the class, I was like, I'm not doing a mentorship. So I was closing the class, thanking everybody for coming out. Guess who stands up in the back of the room? Nobody asked her to stand up. Dana stands up in the back of the room like, hold up, you remember that? What? You remember what you said?
I said if somebody want to work with you a little further, is there any options?
What I say?
He was like, yeah. No, first you was like, what? Right? And then you told about your mentorship. You didn't have no slides or nothing. Nothing prepared and just put it out there. You didn't even have the outline, right? But like sometimes we got to just get started, right? Because people really need us, right? Because, and I always say it's not about becoming a millionaire. It's really not. It's about financial freedom and time freedom, right? And I always say even an extra $3,000, $5,000 a month will change somebody's life. Right, so that's what I really focus on, right? How can you create financial freedom, time freedom, right? And if you become a millionaire, great. But that shouldn't really be the focus because if you don't hit it, then you're going to feel like you didn't succeed. Right? So you focus on making that making $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month. And then it's going to grow, right? Because even like I said, I started investing in real estate in 2006, right? And I never focused on being a millionaire. It was just about having financial freedom, right? And then when I got injured at the job and they didn't pay me for 5 months, but because I had my rental income, I still had my financial freedom, right? And then when I looked at my portfolio and the equity, I was like, I'm a millionaire because I had over 1.2 million in equity, right? So I never focused on that. I was just focused on having monthly income, coming in. Right? And that's what we have to focus on. And everybody needs another source of income. Because if you get hurt on your job, you get laid off, can you pay your bills? Right? And I know people still working. I've been out at the post office since September 6, 2018. I know people that got injured when I got injured, but still working because they know they're not going to get paid for months.
Wow. Something Dana just said, it stood out to me. She said, you don't have to focus on becoming a millionaire. You should focus on financial freedom and time freedom. And that could just mean a couple $1,000s a month. And I remember a few years ago when people were talking about when a lot of people lost their house. And if they had just an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, they wouldn't have lost their house. So what So what comes to my mind is like if you invest in Cleveland, a market like Cleveland, Ohio, the average rent for a two-family, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, is $850 per floor. So that's $1,700 a month, right? So with just 3 properties in Cleveland, Ohio, three two families, you could change your household situation. Just 3 of those properties, right? Moving into what's your favorite way to buy properties? Finance or cash?
So I prefer finance,
Okay.
right? I prefer finance, but it depends on where you invest at, right? You have to use cash. Well, my cash is credit cards, so that's still finance, right?
Okay.
So my favorite way is credit cards, lines of credit, 0% interest. That's my favorite way, right? So the reason I do flips is so I can pay it off, right? Because some areas that you go into, the values aren't there, right? So I still buy properties where, let's just say, the property ARV might be $65,000, right? But I might be all in, let's say $80,000. But the return on investment is great, even $100,000, right? For even number 6, let's just say you collect in $1,700, right? And you buy a property for $100,000. What's that return on investment? I think that's like 20%, 19%.
I ain't that good at math.
Yeah, it's like 19%, but that return on investment is great.
Right.
Right? So, therefore, a bank won't finance that because they're looking at the ARV, right? But if I do a fix and flip, right, now I can pay it off, right? Or I can use all my rents collectively to pay it off, right? There's so many strategies you can use, but I prefer borrow money, right, to buy, because if you're using cash, you're going to run out of cash. I ran out of cash. I started in cash in 2006, and we ran out of cash, right? Because I didn't know anything about credit cards and stuff like that. So I prefer borrow money. And then when it comes to the taxes, you writing everything off. Like, we ain't even talking about taxes. Because when you think about the tax game is crazy, right? And not even like right quick. So last year, right, I made over $2 million. Guess how much I paid in taxes?
20%?
$0. I paid $0 in taxes.
They
right?
looking for you?
No, orange is my color, right? Because I finance properties, right? So even though I bought properties cash, right? So what I did was I refinanced a property, right? Now, let's just say I refinanced a property for $100,000. Now I go against my taxes.
Right.
And then when you have an escrow, you can write everything off, right? So when they be like Donald Trump and them don't pay nothing in taxes, right? It's because of real estate. This is why you don't pay anything in taxes, right? So let's just say if I own everything free and clear, right? I'm collecting all this cash coming in. Then I gotta pay taxes on it, right? But if I'm financing, because it's active.
Yeah, when you refinance, that's not active.
Yeah, you don't pay taxes on borrowed money.
Right.
Yeah, so you can buy. Yeah, the tax game is just crazy when that's a whole podcast lesson by itself that we don't even know. Right? Because I look at people that worked at, like I do taxes too, right? So people that worked at the post office that made $100,000 got to pay $30,000 in taxes. Here it is. My stripes is over $2 million and I'm paying nothing. This right here is a tax write-off. I want these little Gucci sneakers. This is a tax write-off.
Huh. Maybe I'll
this is part of my uniform. This is part of my uniform. Right? So when I come out to Cleveland, we go out to eat. I don't mind paying the bill. We always talking business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can write off so much stuff, right? So
So I'm changing my uniform up.
But I'm just saying.
Is this part of my uniform too?
Yeah. Everything is part. You know what I'm saying? Reasonable, right? But it's part of your uniform, right? So the tax write-off that you take when you are a real estate investor, an active real estate investor, whether it's you financing the house and, the finance fees or, whatever you pay for the house, you're doing content, all that stuff, you write all this stuff off.
So what's your favorite real estate strategy?
Honestly, I don't think I really have a favorite. I would say, okay, buy and hold, right? Because buy and hold, I'm going to receive that passive income. right? I'm going to build up my network, right? When you go to a bank and they ask you your network, they're looking at real estate, right? They don't really count the cash because cash can be disposable, right? But they're looking at your assets, right? So I'm going to say buy and hold, but I do like the process of the fix and flip, right? So of course, fix and flip, you got to pay capital gain taxes, which you put that money into real estate and you can offset it and stuff like that. But honestly, I would say buy and hold.
Okay. What's your favorite property type, residential or commercial?
When you say commercial, you mean
multi-unit, residential.
I think multi-unit. So the reason multi-unit is because instead you have a two-family, right? If you don't have one tenant, and if it's finance, right? If you don't have one tenant, you still don't have to come out your pocket. Versus if you have a single.
Okay, so you're saying you like the leverage of a two-family in case one
Correct.
tenant move out, you still got income coming in from the other unit versus if you got a single family, they move out,
yes,
no income coming in. Okay. Your rental portfolio in Cleveland, how did you build it?
Using business, buying. You talk about where I got it from, or
how did you pay for it? Like
credit cards. Credit cards.
Can you explain one of those deals?
So, all right. So, let's just say I have an entity. First, you have to have good credit, right? I don't care what they say on the internet. You can get credit cards with bad credit. Those are lies, right? So, you have good credit. You have an entity, LLC. You go to a bank and you apply for business credit cards, right? So, I like banks that have multiple credit cards, right? Like Chase, they have 4 business credit cards, which you can apply for 2 credit cards and 1 inquiry. Same thing with PNC, same thing with US Bank, same thing with Bank of America, right? So you just apply for the business credit cards. Once you get the business credit cards, right, and you put a property under contract, and you have the purchase and sales agreement, or even once you have the HUD statement, once you get that from the title company, you go to a site called Plastic, right? And you put your credit card information in, and whoever you're sending the money to, the title company, or whether they allow you to send it to a wholesaler, you put their information in, and you got to upload the proof because they want to know exactly where it's going, and they wire the money to the person. Really simple, right? Only time plastic does not work is when you are trying to do something that's not in the guidelines, right? Like, let's just say you have 2 LLCs. You can't send it from one to the other. It has to be a real transaction. So I've been using plastic since 2018.
Okay. Okay. So the house that we're standing in right now, how did you find this property?
So this one was at a tax auction, the sheriff auction, $80,000. Now at this auction here, you have to give a cashier's check, right? So this one here, I did use cash.
Okay. So you paid $80,000 for it?
$80,000.
What was the rehab? What's your
rehab is probably about $85,000.
Okay. And what's the exit strategy?
We selling this for, when I bought it, I thought it was $335, but a property sold around the corner for $375,000.
Wow. Fix and flips. You see why she like fix and flips? Did you pay attention to her process, where basically she's saying she used credit cards, 0% interest for 18 months, and then in order to pay the credit cards off, she flipped properties like this in order to pay it off, and then she continued to repeat the same process? Same process.
So yeah, so actually the profit from this house here, I'm going to use this to complete my 8-unit.
Okay, let's talk about the 8-unit.
Oh, so the 8-unit, I bought that from a wholesaler for $35,000. It was a complete rehab. The complete rehab is about $200, let's say $300,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it needs everything. So far we did the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, and the windows.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing that in stages because I'm like in no rush since I'm using my own money to kind of get it done. So yeah, and that one there should bring me in probably about $72,000 a year.
Wow. Is that the only multi-unit you have in Cleveland?
No, I have a 7-unit also that I got from you, right? So crazy. It was one day, it was a Saturday, I was like, I'm staying off of Instagram. And I just went on the peak, and your son had posted the 7, no, actually I think you said it was a 6-unit.
Right, I thought it was a 6-unit.
So it was a 6-unit for $35,000. But I'm counting the windows. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is more than what he said it was. But I was like, I want to put it under contract. So I got it for $35,000. That rehab was about $180,000 190. I think that was about 190. That we have 5 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 2 storefronts. So originally I was gonna do a laundromat in the front, but I changed my mind because it's not enough parking. So that's not gonna make sense when less than 5 miles away is a laundromat with a big parking area.
Right,
so I'm like, that's financially, that's not gonna make sense. And even just for the drawings, it's like $16,000. Then there's no guarantee that the city's gonna even approve it.
Right.
So I'm still stuck what I'm gonna do with the bottom part, but it's fine. It's still gonna cash flow me, probably about $4,500 a month just with the units.
What would you say? What would you say to somebody that's just getting started in real estate or looking at real estate as an option to change their bank account? But they're not sure yet. What would you say to them?
I would say get some education. Get some education. Go to meetups. Talk to people that's actively investing in real estate, right? Don't talk to people that's not doing it or that have done it and have horror stories, right? Because when I got started in real estate and I was talking to people that was working with in the post office and they had rental properties and was telling me horror stories, and I was like, don't even listen to that, because imagine if I would listen to them, right? So educate yourself, get active, get your credit in position, right? Because so many times we want shortcuts. There's no shortcuts, right? Get your credit in position, save a little money, and get the education.
So when you first entered the Cleveland market, it didn't go as planned, right? And so a lot of people get started in real estate and it don't go as planned, and you quit. You never give it the opportunity to work out. Think about a baseball player. Baseball player make $100 million. Every time they go up to bat, they don't hit a home run, but they still make millions of dollars. They continue to go up to bat, but most of y'all quit when you get their first lesson. You thinking it's a loss, but it's a lesson to prepare you, for the journey. What kept you in the game after it didn't go the way it was supposed to go?
So I took responsibility for what happened.
Okay.
Right? I wanted to be the lazy investor. Right? So we always got to take responsibility for what didn't go right. Right? So I wanted to be the lazy investor, so I got lazy results. Right? And even when I was dealing with a contract and things didn't go as planned, right? I got to still blame myself because one, when he gave me the scope of work, I should have walked through the property with him to find out what was going to be done, right? And then when I was in Cleveland, right, when I was visiting the property, I wasn't really looking, right? I should have been inspecting every single thing, and I wasn't, right? So, and I knew that real estate is the way to build wealth, right? And just thinking back, now this was right after I got hurt at the post office, and I know because of the properties I had in Atlanta, I was still able to survive, right? And I knew I wasn't going back to the post office, right? So I knew I need to make it work, right? So I learned from my mistakes and kept on moving. And even, we always going to make mistakes, right? And even seasoned investors, right? We can buy stuff and it don't work out because it's unforeseen things, right? But you have to just move on, know when to cut your losses and just move on. Right? And I always say this, that it's not easy working a job, but we go to a job every day. Why? Right? Because we have a why. We need those bills paid. Right? So even getting in real estate, you have to figure out what's your why. Right? Why are you doing this? And that's what's going to drive you. So many times you hear people saying, what's your why? And you think it's cliche, but it's really because a why is what keep you going to a job that you hate.
Wow.
Right? We got to pay those bills. We got to take care of those kids. I remember working at the post office. I used to wake up. I used to work overnight. I used to wake up with an attitude, but I had bills to pay. Right. So I went, right? And then I'm thinking, I can't wait till I retire. So now I'm rushing my life along. Instead of enjoying my life. I'm worrying about retiring another 30 years instead of really enjoying my life. So now, because of real estate, I'm able to live my best life, right? And again, it's not as hard. We got to get the education. We got to believe in ourselves. We got to believe we can do it. We have to network with the right people. Right? Because there are some people out there that's not doing right? So we have to learn how to see past that, right? We can't just see the Rolexes and be like, oh, well, I'm going to go with them because they got Rolexes, right? Go past the Rolex. Go past the cars, right? What are they really doing? What are they showing on their pages, right? Well, I ain't gonna say can you come talk to me because I ain't getting on the phone with you, right? I don't do no type of consultations, right? So you gotta jump on a live, you gotta come to a free class, something like that. But you can go down my page and see, right? So the thing is, you gotta invest in yourself to come and make sure I am doing what I'm saying I'm doing, and the same with you also.
So you got a class coming up live in Cleveland, Ohio. Can you talk a little bit about that class?
So yes, I'm doing a day with Dana, Cleveland, Ohio, June 21st and June 22nd. So we're gonna walk through active rehabs. Then we're gonna go in the classroom and we're gonna learn how to find tax lien properties in any state. So even if you're not interested in the Cleveland market, you can use the information in any state. But the reason I do it here is because I have active rehabs, right? No sense of doing it in Baltimore because I only got buying holes, so we can't see nothing, right? But the information you're going to learn you can use in any state because a rehab is a rehab. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, that's a day with Dana. So you want to come talk to me? See me with a day with Dana. Don't DM me because I don't respond to the DMs. And not even trying to be funny. It's just that I just don't have that type of time.
Any closing remarks?
Any closing remarks is believe in yourself, right? And set up a legacy for your family. And I always say the information we learn isn't just for us, it's for our kids, right? And can I say something right quick? Yeah. And one of the reasons that I wanted to be successful and wanted more for my kids was because when I was 9 years old, I almost got raped for $5. So once I had my kids, I was like, I wanted to make sure I'm able to provide for them, right? And make sure that they never easily impressed by any type of money, anything like that. And a lot of time our kids is going to jail and bribing people because they need money. So us as parents, we have to make sure that we set up our kids up for success. And real estate is something that you can do without having an education.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go like, share, subscribe, and all of the YouTube stuff. I'm new to YouTube. So again, like, share, subscribe, repeat. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Thank you.
You're welcome.